So, J-Man, I was just curious. You know how to speak jive?
Bitch, why you be tripping? Of course I speak jive. Well, no, not speak jive. I am the tightest of the tight brothers.
Nope. Cut. Go.
Coming up on Linux GameCast Weekly, portals everywhere. Transwarp streaming is a thing, and something about dragons. Then we throw the chairs at Portal 2. All this, plus your 8 mil. Let's go. And welcome back to another Linux GameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week, no exception. Portals everywhere. Deuce, transwarp streaming, something about dragons and scraps. Joining me, Vince Stone, every week, our tamed Canadian podcaster. Some say he confirmed Half-Life 3 before Phronix, and his favorite flavor of Kool-Aid is cyanide. All we know is that he's called Massa Spang. How's it going, buddy?
My favorite flavor of Kool-Aid is arsenic. Arsenic! I can't work under these conditions.
And from
I quit.
across the pond in Portugal, you know him as the Giggling Death, but he has many names. We stick with P-Man for the show and for time's sake. So, anything interesting going on this week, gentlemen? I really couldn't come up with anything except fuck YouTube. Seriously, we did a players Portal 2 you might have seen, and like the pain and distressed agony of people watching us. It was brilliant. Had a total chubby for the past 2 days over that. And here's the nice, it was just us playing with that. EA was like, we own that.
We own...
It's like, well, what?
So funny story. They actually own the publishing for PlayStation, even though we're recording this on Linux.
Right. And I was just like, I'm not touching that minefield. And the copyright claim was the intro before the game started. And they're like, I was like, fine, whatever. Anything fun going on, P-Man, in Portugal? How's Moon World?
Moon World. Still looking for a freaking job. There have been a couple of good news. I have a couple of pre-interviews sort of lined up. Nothing official yet, but good news. So I may not be unemployed soon. Please.
J-Man.
Which is actually hilarious, because this week I was actually given 2 job offerings for 2 different Windows admin positions.
Oh, take them. Take them.
No, roommate bought a 770, so now I think I have to buy one in order to win.
Right. Pretty much at the end of the day. But before we get started with this business, I think we gotta make with some whoring, don't we?
Yeah, we can take off all our clothes, and you can see that at LinuxGameCast.com. You can click on our forums button to join chat realms, statically linked with any frickin' fucking account you have. Identica, Google+, whatever, we take it. There's also our YouTube page, which EA is, despite their best efforts, failing to take down. But they're going to keep at it. But you should definitely subscribe just to stick it to those guys. But
for people who hate themselves.
Yeah, for people who hate themselves and who love exploiting illegal immigrants, we have our Facebook page. Brilliant. So check that out. Like that, or
one like away. One like away from 100.
And it's been recently cleaned up. It's our favorite subreddit, Linux_gaming. So check that out. Subscribe. Lots of cool Linux gaming stuff. We get a lot of material from there. And of course, Ven, take it away.
Check this business out. Bidnit. Too much jive for one night, gentlemen. If you click on that podcast, we're going to put this horrible business in your face. We have 3 options. A one-time option. Kick us a couple of shekels. We get a bit of a taste of that. $3.50 a month is going to get you some access. When I mean access, you're going to be in our credits. 10 wet stinkies a month. You get not only in our credits for both of those, but you can be a producer. That means we're working for you, and that's just a bad idea, but we're willing to take that risk. So, do that. Get in there. Kick us some green. We can always use it because, outside of Jordan being independently wealthy, the rest of us.
Yeah. It's beaver slave labor. Seriously, it's the best way to make money.
That's all we have. But I think this week, J-Man, you have the public service announcement.
I do. Do you know how to write C? Do you like free money?
Well, that's free money. I've never heard of it.
It's money that you get for free.
Ah.
No, not really for free. You got to do some work first. Raspberry Pi, the $35 computer that has stolen many people's hearts and who had previously been signing my paycheck, has finally open sourced the documentation for their GPU stack. It's not exactly the same chip, but it's pretty damn close. And
I was promised something about money.
Oh, yes, money. So, to celebrate this, Eben and the guys at Raspberry Pi are offering a $10,000 bounty if you can get Quake 3 running at an acceptable frame rate using their new OpenStack drivers. So, if you're a game developer, or you're a kernel hacker, or one of the other technically minded people who check out Linux GameCast Weekly and want $10,000, check that out.
Raspberry Pi.
And you know what? Maybe you could donate some of that to us.
About true
Maybe.
50,000. That'd be brilliant. But I can almost hear the sound of Phronix just exploding with Half-Life 3 is confirmed because the horse is running away from him, J-Man.
It is. We should provide a shelter in our Steam
Linux
of the week. So Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Half-Life 3 totally confirmed. No, I mean,
Portal 2.
Right.
Well,
if you're a fan of Phronix, this came out several months back. Why is this news?
This is actually old news if you subscribe to the Phronix. But
yeah, it's been out for
Portal
about
2
a
came
year.
out for Linux last week. We recorded a players about it. And you know what? It's about goddamn time.
Well, the one thing I did learn is, not everyone had Portal 2, which I had pre-bought a copy as soon as Portal was released, thinking, all right, this is coming next week. But something that was thrown in my face, there's like billions of infinite combinations of the source engine, and each one has its own thing. So this one's a completely different from Portal 1. That's what took so ever. But fuck all, did they do it right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you
Yes,
know what?
they did.
Considering they announced Steam on Linux a year ago, a year is not a bad amount of time to get a game fully ported over. And I mean, they put some effort into it. You can tell.
Yeah. And properly ported. Unlike the original Portal, which to this day still jerky as old balls.
But you know what? They had some issues. Some people were having problems with the voice work not coming through, even though music and whatnot was. I'm not sure if that was fixed. They have a GitHub page. It's in the link.
Yeah, they
And
fixed it.
the
It
link,
was
of course,
the
is in our show
libmiles
notes.
library that wasn't.
Yeah.
They forgot that Linux was case sensitive.
Ooh, yeah. But they do have a GitHub page for all your bug tracking needs at the link in our show notes below this wonderful little podcast.
And if you're unfamiliar with this concept, pick it up for $19.99. Wet stinky caches at the Steam store.
Though, to be fair, it goes on sale like once every couple weeks, so...
Yep.
Right. Shop smart.
Shop
Speaking of sales,
Right. Now, this is something that is like news to me. Developers now discount games without Valve approval. This comes from rootgamer.com. And what does this mean, you're asking? And I was like, seriously, no. They couldn't do this before? And I was like, no, they couldn't do this before. That would be sensible. But
yeah.
now developers can pick when and where and how they want to put their business on sale. I think that's going to lead to a lot of neat sauce. Can sign
And
up
if
2
you
months in
look right
advance whether they want
now,
to
in this-
participate in Valve's scheduled sale. A private sale period may last up to 2 weeks long. So,
Yep.
yeah.
And if you look at the Steam sales right now, there are over 200 titles on sale. And there is no special like spring sale or anything. It's just people actually want to put their games on sale, and apparently people want to buy.
It moves more units.
Yep.
Brilliant.
And I mean, it's not like this is some sort of digital distribution scheme where you don't have to worry about packaging and whatnot. You
Yeah.
gotta charge $60 a box.
So I heard you're a fan of transwarp streaming, J-Man.
I am. This is nothing to do with that. This is Steambridge off. Confirmed! Yeah, this is Steambridge off GitHub. So this is actually kind of neat. The rough idea is it basically lets you launch your Windows games through Wine through the Steam Linux native clients. There is a caveat though. You do need to actually compile a single Windows DLL so that the transwarp magic can occur. And it could potentially get you banned in VAC secured games. So you might want to be careful with that. But if you feel like taking the dive, it's a pretty cool project, and I thought it was worth mentioning. So check that shit out.
So you're saying this might be helpful for you to use your current Linux gaming box and stream it over to the Steam box in the living quarters, right?
You could do that, yeah.
Yeah, if streaming from Linux to Linux was actually working properly, which for me still doesn't work.
Still no.
I think that is neat, but definitely there's a big wall of nope right there with a question mark followed by, no, you give us some feedback. That's not something I'm personally going to risk. So,
yeah, but it's still interesting if you want to check it out. So, Pedro, I hear you hate women.
I don't particularly hate women. In fact, I love women. But this is The Adventures of Serena S., a.k.a. Ultinous. Tale of Petty Revenge. And you play as Serena, the small-breasted lady you see in the picture there. And someone's been dissing her on Facebook. So,
God, I mean, seriously, did like late 80s pixel graphics get too mainstream for these fuckers?
No, we need 70s Atari pixel graphics.
Commodore 64, GTFO, right?
What was that one? The Magnavox Odyssey level of graphics.
Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, so you go on a quest to redeem your social status on Facebook. And it's a game that's supposed to parody on the stereotypes of women and socialites on Facebook, except perpetuating those stereotypes, even for parody, still perpetuating those stereotypes. And I'm not particularly comfortable with that, but if you don't mind that so much.
I mean, is there a duck face?
It looks like Castlevania and Phalanx had a little love baby. Doesn't look all that entertaining.
Yeah, and that baby got some implants. I'm just saying.
That maybe there was a bit of drinking done during that pregnancy.
So something could have happened there, but that's going to run you $6.99 wet stinky caches. It might be a thing. Let's see if it has the full controller support. That is the magic thing. So good on that.
Yay!
One. I will definitely try it soon as they send us a copy because I'm not buying it. Something. Please have this lined up. No, we don't. Boom.
Nope.
Boom.
Are we going to skip? Ah!
Ha
Success!
Finally found the right tab because we were rearranging things. Major Mayhem. Arcade cover shooter inspired by Time Crisis, Metal Slug, and 80s action heroes that we really did a shit job of reproducing.
Yeah,
let me tell you why here. First of all, this is a rail shooter. This is like, you're stuck here, hide behind this, and click on the screen. Now, you're going to be doing a lot of clicking on a lot of screens, and look at all these achievements. Gotta make you wonder, is this an Android? Yes, it's an Android game, absolutely. And here's the fun part. On Android, it's not 20% off. It's fucking free is what it is. So definitely screech over to the Play Store and experience some of that nope in your face. In one of his little Nexus 7s, I have a Nexus 10, which is superior in every possible way. And, no, this is definitely do not bother with this.
Yeah, don't bother. It's way too expensive for the type of game that it is. And again, it's free on Android. Come on.
But I do think they actually give you the glorious option of giving them money to buy points or something like that. Yeah. But it's just that they had the audacity to put Metal Slug and that together. I want to kick a baby just after seeing that business. But something dragons, J-Man.
Dragons. Ladies and gentlemen, behold the expansion to the best RPG to come to Linux in the past 5 years.
Oh, they finally ported Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
No, they did that last year.
He asked
Chronix
warningly.
Chronix confirmed that already.
Ah.
Yeah, it's already
this
confirmed.
I'm gonna steal this from Pedro because I fucking love
Go ahead.
Shadowrun, and I love Shadowrun Returns. So this is the expansion pack. It's free if you back them on Kickstarter, and if you didn't, it's $14.99 wet stinkies. But it's basically an entirely new campaign done by the guys who wrote the original Shadowrun Returns, set in Ven's hometown of Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not too many improvements. It's just a DLC pack, but you can save anywhere, which was a major gripe in the original game.
Yeah.
Where you could only save after missions. I never really took issue with that, to be perfectly honest. But that's just me. They have some new weapons. They have some new characters. $14.99. I'll throw $14.99 at that.
Okay, if you're going to be throwing $14, how much will the original game run you?
About the same, I think.
Yeah, it's $15.
Okay,
But I mean it's like a full game, so it's just using
30 wet stinky caches for the whole experience. That's
unless you backed them on Kickstarter.
Which right. Could be a different thing. Check that business out over at the Steam store. It's a thing. Not really. I see turn-based, and I go,
It's actually pretty fun.
I would
check
is.
that if I were you.
That's going to bring an end to that, isn't it?
Yeah, no, you know what? The horse escaped our grasp and is still fleeing Laravel.
But the horse was screaming something about Portal 3 available next week.
Oh no, we should probably get the horse back in the chair. But until then, we should just cover the regular news.
I'll get the straps. And with the steamy news out of the way, let's get into the regular, good old-fashioned news.
In this very Pedro-heavy segment.
Yes.
Now with vitamin
It's going to
P.
be a
Be
Mexican
aware, this
segment,
exceeds your
so
daily recommended dose of vitamin P.
Get your bottles, kids. It's take a shot time. So
we're talking about drinking
Radeon
piss.
memory management improvements. Yes, this is ADI news, and open source ADI news are actually welcome. Of course, it's not the news I was expecting. Still good though. It's one of the guys at Mesa, Marek Olsak, I probably butchered his name, but he made some patches that improve memory management on the open source driver, and he used Redwood Evergreen card, the 5670, to test it on, and he got some improvements on the Unigine Heaven benchmark. They weren't huge performance improvements. I mean, at most you get a couple of extra frames per second, but it's only memory management, so you get what you get. This
Really only affects cards with less than a gig of RAM, though. So
that's the thing. My calculator's graphics chip, it's also Redwood, but it's the second gen. It's a Madison card, and it's got 1 gigabyte of GDDR3 dedicated, so it doesn't really matter much. But when you put this particular set of patches together with all the other improvements that are coming in Mesa 10, it's more than welcome. I just ask that they hurry the fuck up. I want a stable release already.
Well, I mean, you could always try the open source NVIDIA drivers.
we kid. Those Nouveau guys are fucking doing the impossible, man. Good on them.
Yeah.
That's a good lead into that works.
Yeah, so Leadworks has a little Kickstarter update with a due date. They're going to deliver at the end of March. They say they're getting it to the point where their workflow, quote, unquote, just
super
works.
backer reward. That sounds awful close to fuck our sisters reward.
Super backer reward. Yes. Where is this?
Ultra backer.
Ultra backer.
No,
Super backer.
backer. No, not quite.
Yes.
You
Sorry, there is a new beta as well. I missed that part. But Their big deal is that their workflow is at a point where they say it just works, which is pretty good. Ben, you've cocked around with Leadworks.
It's pretty neat sauce. Looking forward to it, and unlike Unity, which right, it's like sometimes I just want to strangle me a Unity developer.
Sometimes you just want to fuck their couch.
Natively running on Linux. A couple of games, follow them on the G Plus if you want, because they're really good about throwing updates about different games that are using the engine, screenshots, and all that. Looking forward to it. This you might not be terribly interested in right now, because like I said, this is very close to getting to fuck their sister reward backing level. You got to throw 500 wet stinkies in their face for access.
But it's due at the end of March, so check that out when that's out.
Yeah, that's going to be neat, but I know a man who likes to play with Legos.
Yeah,
he likes to play with
and himself.
I like to play with a lot of things, not just Legos, but this is scraps. It's sort of like Lego Racers, or it will be Lego Racers for grown-ups, with machine guns and cannons and all the good stuff, in which you get to build your own car, and in the future, hopefully race against other people. Right now, all you get is a builder demo, and they've had builder demos for a good long while now. But this new version comes with a bunch of new fixes, including building, massive cars. No longer makes the CPU weep bloody tears like it used to. And they also fixed a bunch of bugs, and they claim to have introduced a bunch of new ones. But personally, I think this version is considerably better than the previous alpha.
I gotta say,
good on them.
One thing I've been waiting for is the multiplayer, because that's when this fantastic technology demo becomes a real boy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And we can shoot at each other with our own Lego Deathcock cars.
Right, and long as all the guns make just one sound and they just go pew, pew, pew. So that's the thing, check it out at scrapsgame.com. You can go ahead and get this beta for gratis. Z29Z is available for download. So put that in your face organ and choke it down.
Speaking of gratis, though, this is an old game that's getting a little bit of an update. Battle for Wesnoth.
From billions of years ago in the future. J-Man, I heard this one popped your cherry, baby.
No, that was open or Free Orion. But Wesnoth was up there in a couple of the first Linux games I ever played.
Old but not forgotten. This is update 1.1110. This is basically just a code freeze leading into the official 1.12 improved options to handle MP, what's multiplayer game disconnections, new screenshot notification dialog, and improved options
to handle multiplayer disconnections.
Right. Somebody forgot to remove their copy in pasta. But like I said, this is mainly a feature freeze. Check this business out at westnorth.org. It's not going to blow you away, but,
strategy.
It's
if you like strategy games.
It's FOSS games, man. You can't hate FOSS games.
Yep. It's FOSS games, and this is old school, like, proto before, everyone's go back and trying to make the hipster pixel. No, this is hipster pixel. No. This is real pixel.
This is too fucking diverse.
Too diverse. Something about brains.
Not diversifying. Maybe it was a hipster that came from space and ate our brains. And apparently he left without paying too, because they're giving it away for free. This is... Well, it's a top-down shooter. Imagine a top-down killing floor with Minecraft-style graphics. Except
so Minecraft Alien Arena?
Except you don't have any textures. Everything's white.
What is this? We didn't bother finishing it. The game.
Yeah. That just looks really crappy.
This seriously looks like something somebody just rage quit on after halfway, and they're like, "Now we're done. We're done."
It's a Unity game, and apparently they didn't like the standard Unity textures, so they went without textures.
Wait, how did that comic go, J-Man? At the end, he was like, "Oh wait."
And it has retro-inspired hipster glass.
Throws money at screen.
Everyone just gets naked and throws money.
So this comes
Which actually kind of describes our review segment, actually.
So P-Man, can we download this from Steam?
Yes,
or?
we can. No, not from Steam. You can download it from
From their
its
website.
its homepage at trianglestudios.itch.io.
All right.
The link will be in the notes. You can get it for free.
Oh, look at this. It is a contender for the longest game title.
Yeah, it's technically endless.
Until
Admittedly,
the
it's
band
kind of
Nile
fun
makes a
in
video
a
game.
simplistic sort of way.
Brilliant. What's up next, J-Man?
Coming up next, we start thinking with portals. And we throw chairs through portals.
And then the chairs come back.
And hit you in the head. It's kind of awesome.
Because that's what
Check it
portals
out.
do!
So I never thought this would actually happen on Linux GameCast. Today we are reviewing Half-Life 3. After years and years of waiting, it's finally come out as a Linux exclusive. I'm just kidding. It's Portal 2, which is not quite Half-Life 3, but almost as good. It's developed by Valve, because you guys don't know that.
What the hell's
Of
Valve?
course, I don't know, some freaking company. They have some sort of distribution platform called Smoke or something. I have no clue.
Right.
It's
was
it's an engine
called
you probably
Mist.
never heard about. It's the Source engine. Like
Mhm.
there's 2 games maybe made out of that thing in the entire freaking worlds. And it's really, for what it is, it's really overpriced. It's like $19.99
Mm-hmm.
or €14.99 euros. Who are we kidding? It's Portal 2, man. Everyone knows freaking Portal 2, but it's out on Linux, and as a gimmick, we're reviewing it. So, cue the chair explanation. We have 4 categories of Doom, which we weight on these four chair metrics. 1 chair means that it's terrible. 2 chairs means that it's pretty good. 3 chairs means that it's actually pretty good, and 4 chairs means shut up and take my money. And of course, the aforementioned categories of Doom mixed with the working. Does it work under Linux? Does it run well? Is it optimized? Is there any issues you should watch out for? Shiny and sounds, the oral and visual goodness, controls is self-explanatory, and fun is whether we enjoyed it or not, our only subjective category. So then, Portal 2, mixed with the working, does it?
Does it make with a working? Now, this is Portal 2. This is new sauce for an old Linux gamer. Hadn't played it under wine like a lot of you heathens. But on our very base minimum test system, our Ubuntu 12.04 LTS, and why do we still keep this old ragged bastard around? Because that's what a lot of games list as their minimum mothering system requirements. Until that changes, eat a bag. 770 powered with NVIDIA goodness. This
Take a shot.
almost ran perfectly, so I'm going to have to give it 3 chairs and not 4 chairs, because when we were doing a players episode, we managed to get a spike crash out of it, which, then again, this is beta, and that's the other thing. I downloaded all this awesomeness in my face organ, and I hit play, and it sit there. So my first reaction is, all right, open top, hit play again, nothing happened. Second reaction, shut down Steam, launch Steam from the command line so I can see the output. Launch, nothing happened. All right, go to the oh, right. I downloaded the beta, so since I'm in the beta, I have to go to the beta, click properties, and join the beta in the beta. Wow! Inception. Beta. So that's why I'm going to give it 3 chairs instead of 4, but then again, this is the beta. Did I say beta, J-Man?
No, but you forgot to mention that this is the beta of the beta. But for this beta of a beta, I installed it, I clicked run, and it ran out of the box.
On what?
I had on my Fedora 20 64-bit 670 powered AMD 1090T blah 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 blah. But yeah, it works pretty well for a beta. I honestly, it ran better than Half-Life 1, or not Half-Life 1, Portal 1.
I would hope so.
Oh man, Half-Life 1 just freaking
It's a
curb
beast,
stomped my
man.
system. Overheated, just sheer thermal death. But yeah, 4 chairs for mixed with the working. This game runs very stupid well.
But how can this awesome sauce run on such a small calculator.
On this
Holy
galaxy.
fuck balls, Batman! I'm serious. I remember how choppy the first Portal still is, and this one, buttery smooth. On my calculator with a 5650 HD ATI, technically it's still an ATI card, running Corora 20 32-bit. Out of the box, no issues, no spite crashes. I'm about 4 hours in and really can't complain. 4 chairs.
Margaritaville it is. So
that's 3 chair total for mix with the working. Shiny and sounds, Ben.
doing good for a beta.
Tickle you. Well,
Dig-a-ling-ling, motherfuckers. Shiny and sounds, as P-Man just pointed out. Portal 1, get this, because I saw him put that in the notes, and I was like, right, last time I tried Portal 1, it was on dual 560 Ti's. I was like, well, how's this going to handle the 770s? I was like, let's put that in. Got everything to yes, not nope. Still some herky jerks.
Yep.
What? Good thing I have part 2 to play. But wow, Portal 2 is just smooth sauce, which it should be smooth sauce in all fairness. I mean, it's a 3-year-old game, but they did an incredible job, and it looks good. Basically, graphically more advanced than Portal 1. Meh. There's some motion blur in there, and some better use of the physics engines and shit flying around, environments, and stuff like that. This is not going to melt the eye organs out of your face just because it's not the new sauce. And we have things like Metro Last Light, but it does mean that Valve is still working on the Linuxes, which is a good thing, but being a bit dated, I'm still going to have to stick with a trace of the chairs, man. Jake?
oh, all right. So, yeah, it's not really fair to compare this game to Metro Last Light, considering Metro Last Light is 2 years older than this guy. But
2
this
years
game
younger.
looks awesome. Again, in comparison with every other Linux game out there, this game just blows it away, aside from maybe Metro. So I have to give that 4 chairs. I mean, and of course you have to mention the impeccable voice acting by J.K. Simmons, Alan McLean, and
Which
that guy
doesn't
who
work
played
out of the
Christopher
box.
Nolan. Let's not
Christopher
forget
Nolan.
Christopher Nolan. Space.
that's not Christopher Nolan, dude. Christopher Nolan directed the Batman movies.
Let him live
no
in his
way.
fantasy world. How did it do with the shiny and sounds?
It gets
butchered
4
that one
chairs
up.
for Shiny and Sounds.
So yeah, on my calculator, again, it ran buttery smooth. I cranked everything to the max to see if it was still work, and it does, except for anti-aliasing. But I'm blaming that on the fact that I'm still using Mesa 9.2.
No, you're
and
just a pro
anti-aliasing.
alias.
Yeah, anti-aliasing on
Racist.
the 9.2 branch of Mesa does not work, at least from my experience. So I'm not going to blame the game for that. And again, the voice work, it's still GLaDOS. If you play the first game, you're going to get plenty of that. Your character doesn't talk, but, you know, it's Shell. She's from the Gordon Freeman line of characters. 4
She also
chairs
has some
for
brain
me.
damage from being in stasis.
Yep.
How many chairs do you have?
4 chairs.
All right, so that's 3 chairs on Shiny and Sounds. That's pretty good. So, coming up next, Control. Then, did you feel like you were in control?
I'm really in control, but to be honest, using your keyboard and your wireless gerbil, no issues with this. I assume, console Tods used to playing on their potatoes could possibly use it with a gamepad. A game like this would never cross my mind, because it would just be infuriating trying to do that from a sit-back experience, but that might be something you want to try in the big picture mode.
Especially if you're doing split-screen multiplayer.
Indeed. No issues with it. I mean, none. Handled properly. Portals appeared where I wanted it to, and I think J-Man was able to point out, to me, it's like, here, go here, go here. And I was like, all right, I'm able to follow this and do this, flip switches. Not a whole lot to say about this because, boom, look at this business. 4 chairs because that's what it deserves. J-Man.
Yeah, the controls are pretty much impeccable. There's zero issue with them whatsoever. 4 chairs.
Merp. Boom.
Murph! Pedro!
It did something awesome, didn't it?
Yeah.
It did. I finished the game in 2011 when it first came out, all the way back when, and it remembered my keyboard bindings, which is kind of awesome because Steam every now and again likes to fuck up people's controls, and the Steam Cloud saves get corrupted and all that, but not it. With Portal 2, everything was still running smoothly, and mouse acceleration was disabled out of the box. 4 chairs from me.
All right, so that is 4 chairs for control. And finally, our only subjective category, fun. Ven, did you have fun playing with me?
I sit down. Well, I always have fun playing with you, but we're talking about Portal 2, sweetness. So, I've been going through like the first-person experience and all that. And I was like, all right. I finally just got on the phone with Gabe. I call him G-Money for short. And I was just like, dude, this is like Portal 1 with more fucking levels. It's getting kind of repetitive later on. He's like, stick with it. So I plan on doing that. But at 3 ons in, unless you're in multiplayer, different experience. Single player, it's interesting story, that it's like, here's some puzzles, motherfucker. And I was like, oh, all of this has happened before, and it will happen again, won't it? And, you get the text that you just know that Gabe's watching you in the house, and he's like, yes, it fucking will. I was like, fuck you, J-Money. So, put that business aside. And, this is going to sound brutal. Multiplayer, I would say 3 chairs, but if you're just doing, you're playing Forever Alone, the home game, I'm just going to give this a 2 chairs because while the puzzles are challenging, it's just puzzles. They're not that difficult to figure out. J-Man.
I love Portal. I have my Portal shirt.
Lemons.
Kate Johnson's Incendiary Lemons. This game is good fun. I fucking love this game. It's awesome. I played it a number of years ago. It still holds up, in my opinion. The puzzles are challenging. The physics are good. The writing in the single player campaign is very, very sharp. Had me laughing my ass off a whole bunch. I just have nothing but praise for Portal 2, so I'm gonna give it 4 cheers.
Ooh. Okay, so it wasn't Christopher Nolan. It just came to me. It was Nolan North, hence my mistake. He's the voice actor from
Wheatley?
the Space Corps. But yeah, fun. Is it fun? Yeah. Is it as fun as I remember the first one being, barring the Linux issues? Personally, I don't think so. The first Portal was a puzzle game, and the story was completely optional. You could play through the entire game without paying any attention to whatever it was that GLaDOS was spouting at the time. Portal 2, on the other hand, and Ven already sort of touched on this, it's a narrative-driven game with puzzle sections. And those puzzle sections don't really blend with the narrative-driven sections. It's a jarring sort of contrast between the two, and personally, it broke me out of the immersion that a game like this kind of needs. From a technical point of view, though, Portal 2, even being the beta, it works better in Linux than Portal 1 ever did and probably ever will, which effectively makes it more fun to play. Unfortunately, it's not enough to get the much coveted 4th chair, so 3 chairs.
All right, well, that's 3 chairs for fun. And Pedro, way to screw that up again. It's not Nolan North. It's Stephen Merchant, Ricky Gervais's agent from Extras.
The Space Corps was voiced by Nolan North.
Was it?
Shut up, ladies. So that's going to give us 3 chairs.
Yeah.
For the final score.
Final thoughts?
Well, our categories, and all that fun business, it's your explanation. That means definitely check this business out. Throw in your face organ. Is it worth the price? Now that, if you're new to this, $20 is a bit steep. But as J-Man pointed out, wait until an alternate Wednesday and this thing will go on sale. It just does. And I think I picked it up for like $9.99 wet stinky cashes like 20 seconds after the first Portal was released, going, next week this is coming out. And Gabe's like, no, it's not. So,
Valve time.
if you have friends, or just internet friends, or anything like that of the sort, a little brother that you don't particularly like, but you want to get him into gaming, multiplayer is where this shines. It shines fantastically. I highly recommend that situation, if you have no idea about it, because it's a good way to let off some frustration and learn a little bit of physics. J-Man.
You fool! Yeah. Buy this game. If you don't already own it, buy this game. It's if the critical acclaim and our stamp of approval doesn't sell it to you, you have serious brain damage.
Yep.
It's good fun. Like I said before, the writing in the single player game, the writing is sharp, the humor is spot on, the gameplay is great. Just buy this game. Go now, do it, and then donate money to LGC.
Do it for science. But yeah,
Science!
it's like Ven said. If you wait until the spring sale for Steam, you'll probably get the double pack of 2 Portal 2 copies for like $10, which was what I got.
It also goes on sale like once every 2 weeks or something. So.
Yeah, that too. So it's definitely at 3 chairs for a Valve game. It's worth the $20 or 15 euros.
And it's a beta.
It's worth it.
Beta.
It's a very good beta.
Beta. How about
Mushroom.
Snaky hate mail?
Yeah, we got some hate mail for you coming up next live on air.
All right, jerk-offs. It's that time of the week where we read your hate mail. And just as a reminder, just so you assholes don't forget, it's got that contact button on the nav bar on LinuxGameCast.com. You push that thing, you fill out your name, your email, give us a subject, give us your message, prove you're smarter than a fucking bot, and away we go. Oh, and by the way, in case you're trying to promote your crowdfunding, what the fuck ever campaign, just include the motherfucking prototype, because if you don't, we're not going to mention your shit. Capiche? Alright. So, first up, we got some portals.
Lots of portals. Different authors. Yeah. This is what we're looking at. As you may know, me and my heterosexual life partner, J-Man right here, Sweet Shakes as he's like to be called, played some portals, and it was my first time, and he was guiding me around like I didn't know what I was doing, because I fucking didn't. But we'll start with Neil Broadley. That was too painful to watch all the way through. Dude had obviously never played Portal before, ever. Explanation point. So frustrating, explanation point. Smiley face. So, yeah, read descriptions much. J-Man, take this next one from John.
John Miller 1 says, I've been screaming at the screen for the last 10 minutes of this. You already had the solution! And 1420E finally says, I was about to pull my hair watching you two do the last puzzle.
So you're basically saying, yeah. that was kind
pretty
of
much
where we were going with that entire experiment. P-Man, I'm sure you watched it. Did you have any thoughts on it? Did you get angry at your monitor?
Apparently
I didn't get angry at my monitor because I knew what to expect going in. But Nori watched it and she was pissed at you, Vin. She actually thought that Jordan was the redeeming factor by screaming at the top of his lungs, Vin, come on!
Yeah, that woman normally hates my guts, so...
So, right. You might remember last week we put a little bit up with Linux, Linus, doing this saying, I like offending people because the type of people who get offended should be offended. And Rich White's, that's racist, screams back in our direction with that Linux quote. And he says this, business. This is why I no longer follow Linus Torvalds. The guy's such a jerk. He once posted a problem he was having, and I responded a way to fix it. He chewed me out. God, I hate myself. I can't even explain to you how many times I jerked off reading that.
I'm going to say 6.
My erection wouldn't stop. Any thoughts, P-Matter?
Linus Torvalds, he's a very peculiar man. When he expects something to work, either it works, or he's gonna chew out anyone that comes up with some bullshit excuse for it not to work, or some retrograde bullshit workaround how to fix it. Yeah, that doesn't sit well with him. And if you actually follow him like you said you used to, you'd know that.
So, P-Man, you got a fan. This is Dr. Joms.
Apparently, yeah.
He writes, and this is our Russian friend. Trust me, he's very Russian. He writes, "Hi, Vin. I would like to come many times over and play with you guys the Strife.
Giggity.
Your Russian Finn. I have extensive MOBA experience in Hun, and I will suck Pedro's cock if you let me play with you. Please. Pretty please."
See, why are you offering to suck Pedro's cock? You gotta offer to suck either my or Ven's cock.
Can you not?
Sucking off Pedro doesn't really accomplish anything, as Nori will be very quick to tell you.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about this. Can you not?
Well, no, Dr. Jones, as soon as we get in that business, MOBAs, we haven't really went there with much success, but when we do, and with that particular game was Strife.
Which is actually out in public beta this weekend, so check that out.
Super sweet, and we'll probably give you an invite, and we'll let you get a taste of that super sweet Portuguese sword.
No!
But cue that music, because at the end of the day, in the end of the show, I'm Vin Stone at Vin Stone Plus. Vin Stone cleverly disguised on the interwebs, and this sexy monster of a man.
I'm Jordan Svung. You can find me at The Burning Fool on Twitter, or plus Jordan Svung on Google Plus. And this underpaid Mexican worker.
I am Pedro Mateos. You can find me at Unaccounted For on Twitter, or plus Pedro Mateos on Google Plus.
So, let's just say die in the fires, lovely people. Die in the fires, zombie hordes of the internet called Chatroom. And look awkwardly to the side.
Wait, left side or right side?
Too late.